Hey, this is Adeea, the Trendy Socialite. I hope all is well with you. I get asked a particular set of questions at least once a month and have been doing so for well over a year now. And I've been reluctant to share my thoughts and my story about it, but over the past, I guess, 3 weeks or so, on the cusp of the new year and since the new year has begun, again, I'm getting bombarded with with questions around this particular subject matter. So I wanted to come to you and share my thoughts. I needed to verbalize it. I needed to get it out there. And I thought, because I've gotten this question from multiple platforms, that answering on video would be the best way to do so. So I get asked a lot about purpose and finding your purpose and knowing what your purpose is. A lot of women especially seem to struggle with that. And, I have even struggled with that. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes and just share briefly with you sort of my process and the things that I've been taught and I've learned over the years about purpose and finding your purpose, and what that really kind of means and looks like for me. And then hopefully you can find some inspiration and some information in this. So I think at the age of 38 years old, I'm finally beginning to really walk in my purpose and to feel comfortable about it. I think I've walked in my purpose before, but I was always unsure. I was always unsteady. I was very, very much so like a toddler first learning how to walk, and they're grabbing onto things to hold on to, looking back or to the left or to the right to see where mommy or daddy is. And I think as I have matured in Christ and as I've matured as just a woman, I have found my feet, my steadiness, my balance, and I have been able to really, really walk into that purpose. For me, it's been a process, and I think finding your purpose is a process. It is not something that you wake up one day but you may have this major epiphany and all of a sudden know exactly what your purpose is. I have had epiphanies, I have had glimpses, I've had prophecies, I've had dreams, I've had things spoken into my life about what my purpose is and things of that nature. And honestly, it's through the process of time, the process of study, and the process of prayer, meditation, fasting, and really, really seeking God that I've really discovered what my purpose is. And I can honestly say that I've had a ministry calling on my life for years, for a very, very long time. I've run away from it for as long as I could, and because I always had this very boxed in approach to what I thought ministry was, and I thought it involved preaching and one of the fivefold ministry gifts that take place within the four walls of the church. It has only been in this last year that I've really understood, taken to heart, and have started to walk in what I feel like my ministry calling is. And that is actually out here in the land of social media. And I've been so blessed and so fortunate to connect with a multitude of women from various walks of life doing amazing things, wanting to do amazing things. And this is part of my purpose, is to help equip. I have spiritual gifts. I know what they are. I have the gift of administration, I have the gift of hospitality, and I have the gift of leadership. Hospitality used to be my dominant gift, and administration and hospitality were very, very close. Over time, as I've changed and grown and matured, leadership is now one of my dominant gifts, and hospitality and administration are just part of that. Like, I'm just always going to have, and that's why I went into PR and event planning, because I knew that was my spiritual gift, and that God gave me ideas and gave me ways to do things in ways that people that had way more experience and had way more education couldn't necessarily come up with. So I knew that there was a giftedness there that only came from God above. Finding my purpose, I can honestly attest much of the process of knowing the process of finding my purpose to my mom. My mom is a teacher, a preacher, a pastor, and she went through this season of time, and I know it was for that season, but it was specifically for me, where she taught and preached, and I mean, everything she talked about was about purpose, and it was all of those lessons stuck with me. So as I've grown, as I've matured, as I've come closer to the Lord and gotten to know Him for myself, I have really, really been able to take those lessons to heart and to apply them to my own life. So that's the crux of what I want to share with you today. My mom has this wonderful little acronym, whatever you want to call it, using the letters of purpose. And when she first taught this, I mean, I was like, oh my God, it was simple, but it was powerful. And it's something that I have used to this day to help me determine what my purpose is. When you are thinking about, praying about, seeking God about what your purpose is, the first thing to consider is, what is your passion or passions? And I get this question a lot too. What if I have multiple passions? How do I narrow it down to just one? Well, let me tell you about Adeea. I have multiple passions. I have passions in leadership. I have passions in event planning. I have passions in natural hair. I have been able to, through really much prayer, blend all of those three areas of passion together. And I've done that through developing International Natural Hair Meetup Day, and through my latest initiative, which is called I Grind Naturally, which is a group of 4 women that are bloggers, vloggers, business owners, brand owners in the natural hair, fashion, beauty, and natural hair, fashion, and beauty communities. And that blends all of my passions together. So Adeea does not think that, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking about myself in third person, but I'm just saying, I don't think and feel that you necessarily have to narrow your passion down to one. If you really seek God and ask Him specific, because we serve a very specific God, and if you ask Him, Lord, these are the things that I'm interested in, these are the things that I'm very passionate about, is there a way to blend them together into something that would be super impactful on the kingdom and on my community? I promise you, He will give you the idea. I promise you, I couldn't have come up with INH&D or I Grind Naturally by myself. But I knew that these were my areas of passion. These were my areas of strength. These were just areas that I excelled in, and I'm getting ahead of myself, with no real challenges. It came second nature to me. And so I was like, God, I don't want to have to choose. If you make me choose, obviously I will, but can I just have it all? And He has been fortunate in gracing me with that ability. So my advice, if you have multiple passions, is to really seek God and ask Him, is this truly a passion that you've given me? Is this a passion that I have? Or is this just something I'm good at? And I promise you, He will clearly answer and give you whatever those distinctions are. So also, one of the things with passion, part of the ways that I discovered what my passions were, was I took spiritual gift assessments. That was huge for me. That's where I found out what my spiritual gifts were. And when I knew what they were, I started walking in them more. I started operating in them more. There may be, for those of you that may not be Christian, there may be some sort of talent assessment. Career assessments will often give you those leanings. I've taken the Myers-Briggs test several times. I've done True Colors. I've done several other indicators along those lines that talk about personality and strengths and things of that nature. All of those will help to affirm and confirm some of the leanings and the feelings that you have about what your areas of passion and strength are. The next thing when considering your purpose is uniqueness. We serve a very creative and a super unique God, and He desires that for you. I mean, the Bible talks about that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And so He will give you ideas. He will give you things to do and passions and ways to do things that are unique that no one else thinks of. He does that to me quite a bit. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, does anybody else think like that? Like, that's crazy. Really? Those are the kind of conversations I have with myself about it, because it is so unique. It is so different that, and I don't see it done. So I'm like, well, does anybody else think like this? Because I haven't seen this done yet. One way to know that you are approaching your purpose is that God will give you something so unique, so one of a kind, and so strictly just for you that, I mean, you can't do anything else but act on it. In considering purpose, look at your resources. Who are those people, those things that you have around you that you have, easy access to? It could be financial resources, but don't limit it to that. There's so much that can be done with human and capital resources. If you have a space that's ideal for using it for an event, that's a resource that you have. If you work in a particular industry and you have access to scientists and, research and development people, and you're interested in making products, I mean, gosh, you have a ready-made sounding board with people like that at your disposal. So look at those things that honestly God has placed around you to help you walk into your purpose. The next P in developing and finding your purpose is prophecy. And it's not just, prophecy from a prophet in a spiritual sense, but that is a huge indicator. But it can be things that people have told you that you're good at, things that you've heard, feedback that you've heard from supervisors and coworkers and even your subordinates about, where your strengths lie and things like that. That is an indication of what your purpose may be. I can honestly say that a lot of the prophecies that I have that have been shared with me and that people have spoken all over my life have come true to a great degree. It probably would have come true a little bit faster if I won't running, but hey, don't judge me. But anyway, they have come true, and it is also one of the things that, for me, prophecy and having these outside affirmations and confirmations do is it helps me to discern opportunities. It helps me to figure out, okay, God, this may be you, because people have said that I'm gifted in this area. And so I'm much more open and receptive to things that God may place in my path and doors that He opens for me, because somebody has told me that they see this for myself too, and it's not just some crazy notion that I come up with from a lack of sleep or a lack of coffee or something like that. So look at what people have shared with you that you're good at, especially if it's a consistent word. If you've heard it from your pastor, and you've heard it from your boss, and you heard it from your friend, and you've heard it from somebody that you work with but you're not that close with, like, that's consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see something in you consistently in various situations and scenarios. So really, really take that to heart and water it with prayer, because I really think that that's something there for you to consider and to look at. Look at what opportunities you have to use your passions, to use your strengths and your giftedness in whatever scenarios and situations. It doesn't just have to be limited to a spiritual or a church setting, but look at what opportunities you're presented with at work and places like that. This also gives you an opportunity to perfect those things. Yes, you may be passionate about something may come easy for you, but that doesn't mean that you don't practice it, that you don't get better at it, that you don't devote yourself to learning and to developing your passions and your gifts. That is hugely important. Something that I have adopted as my personal mantra and lifestyle is to be a lifelong learner. So even though I have been in the event planning industry for about 14 years, I still read about it. I still look at industry experts about it and see what they're saying and what's doing and what the trends are and those sorts of things, because I don't know everything. I haven't learned everything. I haven't done every type of event. And with the changing of technology and the world and the economy, there's just new things to learn every day. So look for those opportunities to practice your gifts, to learn more about your passions and things that you may feel like are your purpose in life. So the next thing is season. There are, sometimes I feel like at certain points and times in your life, your season is revealed to you. You may know it, or you may have been told what your particular area is, but it may not be that particular time for that. I know for me, International Natural Hair Meetup Day and I Grind have come at a particular season in my life. And I'm so grateful that I was sensitive enough to hearing from God to be able to walk in that season. Was I afraid? Yes. Am I still afraid? Yes. It is a huge opportunity, but it's also a huge responsibility that God has given me to lead people, to lead a group, to lead an effort, to lead an event that literally touches thousands of lives every year. And then through I Grind, I have about 100 women that I can touch and help just motivate. That's not something that I take lightly, but I absolutely believe that it's because of this particular season that I am in. And when you're thinking about your purpose, look at that. Is it a particular season? Like, it just really seems like things will just start to fall into place, and they'll just seemingly happen in a cluster. It'll just happen all at one time, and you're just like, oh, whoa. You almost get a little overwhelmed, right? So think about that. That may be an indication that this is your particular purpose. And then lastly, effectiveness. Look at things that you are effective at. Things that, there could be 20 people lined up to take a task, and somebody will walk past all 19 and bring that task to you. And it happens over and over and over and over again. So much so that you're like, can't nobody else do this? Yes. When you are super effective and you are able to do things almost second nature without much thought, and it just comes easy to you and the results are tremendous, that may be an indication of what your purpose is. For me, I can look at things. I was talking to a friend. She was telling me about an event she wants to do, and it was like, oh yeah, you can do blah, 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 blah. And she was like, see, I didn't even see all that. I didn't see that. That's my giftedness. That's my passion. That's part of my purpose. So I see things pretty quickly that, some other people may not see. She is gifted in another particular area. So when I share something with her, she has insight that I would never have in that particular area. So look at those things that you are effective at. This is just a starting point about purpose. This is by no means everything that I feel or I know about purpose. But if you have any particular questions, feel free to leave them below. I'm going to do some follow-up videos. There's going to be an opportunity to hear about purpose that you're going to be so excited about, because I'm excited about it for you. Again, I did this because I get this question so much, and I wanted to share with you all my heart and sort of the way my purpose has been revealed to me. As always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. If you've had this discussion with other friends of yours, please share this video with them, and send me an email if you have any particular questions that you may not want to leave below. I'm totally open to that. thetrendysocialite@gmail.com. As always, take care and be blessed. Bye.